A heads up before I say anything. This video is to not help diagnose yourself. I'm not an expert. I'm not going to be able to help you to determine if you have it, if you have depression, if you have anxiety, if you have bipolar disorder, anything like that. I'm not going to try and help you diagnose that. If you want to know, talk to someone. Talk to a psychiatrist. Make sure you're okay. Now this passage is in a notepad I had on my phone that I'd write all my feelings and all my thoughts in. It's like a diary, basically. So let me read it for you guys. December 16th, 2018. I don't know what's wrong with me anymore. I'm laying here crying, hating my life and myself. It doesn't feel worth it anymore. Why do I have to suffer? Doesn't feel like there's anything worth living for. I just want to scream right now. Doesn't feel like anyone understands or cares anymore. I'm literally so stupid. I want to hit myself so bad because I know and feel like this is all my fault. Why couldn't I just be a better friend, son, and person? I'm a monster, it feels like. I feel so guilty. Can't even care anymore. I don't have anything left to care about. I hate having these anxiety attacks. I stutter, start to feel lightheaded. I always act like everything is okay, but truth is that nothing is. I smile to make sure people aren't upset that I'm depressed, but I can't do that anymore. I don't have anyone I can go to, it feels like. Can't I just die? That is something for about 2 years I felt on the daily. For almost 2 years, I went to bed every night crying, hoping I woke up dead. In 2 years, I tried killing myself 4 times. Looking back on these years now, I don't know how in the world I lived, how I got through it. I know now, but I'll get to that later. So quick little thing about me. I have a nice, loving family, mom and dad, 2 sisters. Great family. They love me so much. And I say that because I don't want people to think that your circumstances determine if you have depression or not. Just because you live in a crappy environment does not mean you're doomed to have depression. You're gonna get depression. It just happens. Sometimes it's generational. Sometimes it's, something that builds up over time. But your circumstances, and I want to say this up front, your circumstances do not determine who you are. You can make that choice. You have control over your life. Anyways, to continue, in 2017, things started feeling different. I was in 7th grade, early on in 2017, that is, and I started feeling so odd. Like I started getting more and more sad. It was tough because I would get, and it sounds so dumb now, but guys, you got to understand, in and this is so dumb, and it makes me chuckle thinking about it. I was in and out of so many middle school relationships. It sounds so dumb. Okay, I get it. But at the time, that was heart-wrenching to me. I felt like I was being played all the time. I didn't know what was going on. I was just, I didn't know. I was just hit with heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak. And not only just that, there was a lot of stuff going on in my personal life, in my family life. It felt like I was slowly being forgotten about in people's minds because of the family issues that were going on. felt like I was slowly being forgotten about in my family's mind. I felt really alone. It felt like I had no friends. It felt like my family barely ever talked to me. For a long time, I barely even saw my family. Or they were just off dealing with other stuff, or they were, doing their own thing, which I completely understand. I'm not saying that I didn't understand people had lives, because people have lives. But I'm just expressing how I'm feeling. I felt very alone. It was a steady kind of sadness the whole year. It wasn't too bad, but then things kept getting worse. I got into a lot of toxic friendships. Things just kept happening left and right. Everything was just crumbling apart all at once. I was so depressed. It felt like there was just a weight on my whole upper body all the time. It felt, my being, my soul, if that makes any sense, felt like nothing. It felt nothing. I couldn't even be happy normally. I couldn't, just chill. I was always sad, depressed, out of it, alone. I felt so completely uncared for. I tried killing myself once by drowning. That was stopped, obviously. I tried killing myself by strangulation. I got a belt, I tied it up, I kept pulling until I couldn't breathe. And I realized if I pulled one more time, I was gone. I was so close. But then all of a sudden, I felt like a don't. Now, you can believe what you want. I'm not going to try and force my religion onto you. But I felt like someone was saying don't. I got a flashback in my mind of I saw all the people who were there for me crying. I saw my family crying. And I couldn't do it. I had to stop. It was tough. Because, like I said, there were people who would try to help me. They would try comforting me, talking to me, help me feel like I'm not alone. But the depression kind of put I'll call it lens over my eyes, to where I saw everything as just I'm alone. I saw everything as nobody cares for me. It was horrible. I can't even use real words to explain how excruciatingly horrible it was. There'd be moments where I'd experience happiness, but meanwhile, there was just something that was still just hurting. So I'm feeling alone. I'm feeling completely weighed down, at the end of my wits, and I got help. I finally talked to my parents about it. My parents noticed for the longest time, they had noticed a shift in the way I was acting. They started realizing that I wasn't being chipper around the house like I normally would have been. I'd be in my room all night just crying, listening to sad songs, trying to I had to just release it. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt alone in the sense of nobody else understands what I'm going through. I felt like a monster. I felt like, oh my gosh, I'm wanting to kill myself. Who am I? I felt like it was just the weirdest feeling of feeling like I'm different than everyone else. And that thought would keep cementing into my head. People would tell me at school, they'd be like, please get happier. I don't like seeing you. I don't like depressed Caleb. You have no idea how much that cemented into my mind that I was like I was like this monster. I was different. It was horrible. But they were right. I needed that. I felt in my heart that was not the true me. That was not me. I did get help. I talked to someone. I had an amazing counselor, therapist. I don't know what's the difference. He talked me through a lot of stuff. Eventually, I saw a psychiatrist. I got diagnosed. I got medication. And I slowly kept working and working and working to the point where I am today. Now, I'm a Christian. And personally, I felt like following Jesus and just listening and pushing in just really kept me going. It always felt like I was just hearing, you got this, you got this, you got this. And it was an amazing feeling. There's so many times along the way, even when I was super depressed, where just things that were God, and I knew it was. There's a story I'll never forget for the rest of my life, and it's probably one of the things that actually saved me. I was going to end my life, but one weekend I went to a camp that my youth group has, and this girl I'd never met, never talked to, she would have no knowledge of me at all, came up to me. She asked me if I was Caleb, and I was like, yeah, like what's going on? She told me that God told her that I wasn't alone, and that I'm wanted, and that I have a purpose. That moment, you can't explain. They would have no reason, they would have no knowledge of me. And it was so perfect because it kept me going. And like I said, whether you believe it or not, that kept me going. And just the little things along the way really just built me up. I still struggle with this stuff. I'm not saying it goes away, because it really doesn't. I'm probably going to be dealing with this, like the little pieces of this 10 years down the road. I know it. But now that I've grown as a person, I stepped out for help. I was able to grow and build myself up to where now it doesn't have that big of a hold on me. And I say all of this because if you are struggling with this, you are not alone. Listen, it feels like you're the only one. It's just you. But I promise you, you are not the only one. You may not see it. And you know what? To a lot of people, seeing is believing. You may not see it, but you gotta believe it. You are not alone. I would not be making this right now if I didn't think people were not alone. You will get through this. A lot of people who know me know I'm a very selfless guy. I care a lot about people. I check in with a lot of people. I try to make sure everyone's okay. Be that person to anyone. Because the random little acts that people did to me during that time was so enlightening to me. Text someone, say hello. Text someone, say, hey, how have you been doing lately? How are you? How have you been? In a world that's becoming so divisive, in a world that is becoming so one against the other, be there for someone. Talk to someone. Because you know what? That person might just be going through this. I really feel like good can be done. So please share this video. Get this video around. Help people not feel like they're alone. Help people feel loved and cared about. And if you are going through this, get help. Talk to someone. I will see you all in the next video.